Eclipsia. Chapter 1: The Enigma of Havenwood. Persistent rain fell over the town as Sophia Holbrook, an investigative journalist known for her tireless curiosity, found herself before a forgotten article in an old newspaper. The intricately written title immediately captured her attention: Havenwood and Eclipsia, Decades-Old Mystery Unraveled? It was a small piece from decades ago, describing a unique phenomenon that occurred in Havenwood every 10 years. The Eclipsia, as it was called, transformed the tranquil coastal town into a setting of inexplicable events. Stars completely vanished from the sky, shrouding the town in oppressive darkness, and stories of supernatural occurrences began to spread. What initially seemed like an urban legend became intriguing to Sophia, especially when she discovered that the next eclipsia was approaching. Rumors of shadows moving at night, whispers of unfathomable secrets, and mysterious events that defied common logic circulated among the inhabitants of Havenwood. Intrigued by the enigma surrounding the town, Sophia delved into deeper research. She interviewed local elders who, amidst cups of tea and deep wrinkles, shared stories that were both fascinating and chilling. They told her about how Eclipsia shaped the town's past, how extraordinary events unfolded during that dark night, and how often their outcomes were inscrutable. Sophia realized that Havenwood held undisclosed secrets, and the journalist in her yearned to unveil what lay beyond the veil of normality. The forgotten article was the spark that ignited her curiosity, and the prospect of personally witnessing the eclipsia became an imperative quest. Driven by a mix of skepticism and fascination, Sophia decided that her next report would be dedicated to unraveling the mystery of Havenwood and Eclipsia. She booked a room in a local inn, armed with her camera, notepad, and a burning desire to discover what lurked in the shadows of that coastal town. The journey to Havenwood, navigating winding roads and surrounded by a misty landscape, heightened the sensation of entering unknown territory. When she finally reached the town, she noticed an atmosphere charged with anticipation and apprehension. The residents, looking at her with a mix of curiosity and suspicion, revealed only fragments of information about what might occur during the eclipsia. Sophia, determined to uncover the truth, began her interviews with a shrewdness that was her trademark. As the history of Havenwood unfolded before her, she felt that each collected word was a piece of the puzzle that would reveal the enigma of Eclipsia. As night fell, while watching dark clouds gather in the sky, Sophia felt a growing tension. She knew that her quest for answers was only beginning. Entering the mysterious and unpredictable atmosphere of Havenwood, the journalist was about to unravel not only the secrets of Eclipsia but also something that would challenge her understanding of the inexplicable. Chapter 2: Whispers in the Shadows. Twilight cast its shadows over Havenwood, and Sophia, after a day of intense interviews and exploration, returned to the local inn where she was staying. The comforting warmth of the fireplace was not enough to dispel the eerie atmosphere hanging over the town. As she stepped out of the inn's door the next morning, Sophia was greeted by a thin mist enveloping the cobblestone streets. The town seemed quieter than usual, and the residents, passing by her, looked with expressions that mixed distrust and restless curiosity. While Sophia walked through the damp streets, her steps echoing like the first chords of a dark symphony, a small shaggy dog approached. He was a friendly mutt, with curious eyes and drooping ears. He seemed to have no owner, but a tag on his collar revealed his name as Frodo. Frodo immediately took a liking to Sophia, following her like a silent shadow. It was as if the dog sensed her quest for answers and decided to accompany her on this mysterious journey. On the way to the abandoned mansion, Sophia noticed that the whispers of the residents were more intense today. Shops closed earlier, and house windows were locked, as if everyone was preparing for something only they knew. Upon reaching the mansion, Sophia felt a shiver run down her spine. The doors creaked open, echoing like a silent warning. She explored the dusty corridors, guided only by the pale light streaming through broken windows. Frodo, always by her side, sniffed the air restlessly, as if he could sense presences that human eyes couldn't detect. Sophia wondered if the little dog had any connection to the mysterious events of Havenwood. While investigating an abandoned room, Sophia found a faded photograph of a smiling family. The eyes of those people seemed to follow her movements, as if frozen in the image, suspended in time. Determined to gather more information, Sophia headed to the local police station. The stone building seemed more austere than the constructions around it, and an air of mistrust lingered. She pushed the glass door and was greeted by the monotonous sound of a typewriter. The sheriff, a robust middle-aged man with piercing eyes, looked at her with suspicion. He introduced himself as Sheriff Williams and, upon learning about Sophia's investigation into Eclipsia, assumed a cautious stance. These rumors about strange events during Eclipsia are nothing but local superstitions, the sheriff asserted, avoiding eye contact. We at the station pay no attention to these fanciful tales. I noticed you've been entering private property, don't let it happen again. I'll have my men close down the mansion. Sophia, however, noticed a fleeting glimmer of apprehension in Sheriff Williams' eyes. She insisted on obtaining information about past incidents during Eclipsia, but he remained evasive, almost as if he were hiding something. As Sophia left the station, she felt the shadows of mistrust lengthening over her. The sheriff seemed to be concealing something, and she wondered if the local police were aware of supernatural events they preferred to keep secret. On the way back to the mansion, Frodo continued to stay by Sophia's side, appearing more alert as they approached the heart of the mystery. The whispers in the town increased, becoming almost inaudible murmurs that floated in the humid air. Sophia was determined to uncover the truth behind Eclipsia, even if it meant challenging the local police's distrust and confronting the whispers of the shadows. The abandoned mansion awaited, full of buried secrets and mysteries ready to be revealed. And Frodo, the little ownerless dog, remained by her side like a faithful guardian amid the impending darkness. Chapter 3: Mysteries of the Mansion. Sophia stared at the imposing facade of the abandoned mansion. With each creak of the door, an echo of years past seemed to whisper, telling stories that only the walls had witnessed. Frodo, the loyal canine companion, watched with curious eyes, as if he, too, sensed the significance of the place. The difficulty of entering the mansion was evident. Window boards were firmly nailed, and the door seemed to resist any attempt to open it. Determined, Sophia drew a flashlight and explored the surroundings in search of an alternative entrance. Every blade of grass, every bush seemed to carry traces of the past, as if nature itself held secrets. While examining a possible entrance at the back, she was approached by an elderly resident named Mr. Thompson. He was a man of few words, but his eyes, aged by life, held a story eager to be told. "You shouldn't be meddling with what you don't understand, young lady," he said, his words coming out like advice laden with concern. He shared stories of times past when the mansion was alive and pulsating with the energy of a family that now existed only in the shadows of time. Sophia realized that, for the residents, the mansion was more than an abandoned building. It was a testimony to an era lost in darkness, a reminder of a past they preferred to forget. Sophia then promised to thoroughly investigate what was happening with the town and find a way to stop it all. The old man, seeing the determination of the young woman, mentioned that he knew a little about the residents and knew of a possible entrance. With Mr. Thompson's help, Sophia discovered a secret entrance at the back of the mansion. A hidden door, covered in ivy, revealed a narrow and dusty corridor. The creaking of the boards under her feet echoed like a lament from the very structure of the house. Frodo, always by Sophia's side, seemed to sniff something specific. He began to follow an invisible trail, leading them through the shadowy corridors. Each room contained a piece of the puzzle, with furniture covered by sheets and portraits silently observing the present. In a locked room, Frodo stopped in front of a dusty desk. Sophia, curious, opened a drawer and found old letters addressed to someone named Edwin, the former owner of the mansion. The dog suddenly became agitated, as if trying to draw attention to the letters. The letters revealed a human drama intertwined with the mystery of the mansion. Edwin was a man passionate about stories and mysteries, dedicated to unraveling the enigmas of the past. One of the letters mentioned his obsession with eclipsia and a theory that something more sinister was behind the phenomenon. Intrigued by the discoveries, Sophia decided to follow Edwin's trail. He had mysteriously disappeared a few months ago, leaving behind an empty mansion and a loyal dog. Frodo, now an orphan, chose the journalist as his new companion, as if he knew that she would continue the search for his former owner. The trail led them to a dark basement, where Sophia found a diary belonging to Edwin. His words revealed a growing obsession with eclipsia and the belief that it was a gateway to another world. He believed that the mansion was situated at a convergence point between realities, and every decade, eclipsia opened a breach that could be explored. Sophia felt a chill run down her spine as she read Edwin's words. The basement, cold and damp, seemed to vibrate with ancestral energy. She began to understand that the mystery of the mansion was intrinsically linked to eclipsia, as if the darkness falling over Havenwood activated an ancient hidden magic. Back in the corridors, Sophia realized that the mansion was not just a physical space but a portal to something beyond human understanding. The shadows came to life, dancing on the walls like entities long dormant. The dog Frodo, now more than a mere pet, seemed to be a living connection to Edwin and his hidden knowledge. He guided Sophia through secret passages, revealing forgotten rooms and unveiling the dark past of the mansion. The sun began to set, casting a faint light through the broken stained glass windows. Sophia, with Frodo by her side, was determined to continue her search on the night of eclipsia. As she ventured deeper into the mansion, the feeling that something ancient and powerful awaited awakening increased. Sophia's journey, intertwined with Edwin's story and the mansion's hidden revelations, led her to the center of the enigma. Eclipsia, every decade, provided a unique opportunity to explore the boundaries between reality and darkness, and Sophia was about to cross that unknown threshold. The silent town of Havenwood held secrets long forgotten, and the night of eclipsia promised to reveal truths that would challenge even the understanding of the intrepid journalist. Chapter 4: The Night of Eclipsia. The mansion was engulfed in darkness, with only the flickering light of Sophia's lantern to guide her through the shadowy corridors. Frodo, the loyal dog who had become her companion, remained by her side, his eyes vigilant in the surrounding darkness. Sophia felt a growing tension as she ventured deeper into the mansion. Every step echoed like a reverberation of times past, and the shadows seemed to twist and writhe on the walls. Indistinct murmurs whispered in the air, as if the house itself was alive with ancient and unknown energy. Entering a forgotten room, Sophia noticed an old painting hanging on the wall. It was a portrait of the family that had inhabited the mansion decades ago, Edwin's ancestors. They smiled in the image, a happy family frozen in time. Sophia studied each face, sensing a normalcy and happiness that contrasted sharply with the darkness now enveloping the house. As the night progressed, the darkness deepened, and Sophia felt the atmosphere growing heavier, as if the mansion itself was about to reveal its deepest secrets. Upon reaching a central room, she noticed a strange pattern on the floor, forming a kind of circle. Restless, Frodo began to growl softly, as if sensing an invisible presence. Determined to unravel the mystery of Eclipsia, Sophia positioned herself in the center of the circle. A chilling sensation ran down her spine, as if the house itself was about to awaken. The moment the clock struck midnight, the mansion trembled as if a supernatural force stirred it. The circle on the floor began to emit an ethereal light, and the shadows dancing on the walls started to gather around, forming a kind of portal. Sophia, now enveloped in magical light, felt a force pulling her toward the portal. With Frodo by her side, she crossed the border between present and past, finding herself in a place that seemed like a distorted reflection of what she knew. The mansion was alive again, illuminated by a gentle light emanating from every corner. Sophia realized she was no longer alone. The family depicted in the paintings was there, living their lives as if time had reversed. She watched in amazement as events unfolded before her. The family, led by the patriarch, lived a peaceful and prosperous life. Children laughed and played in the corridors, while adults attended to daily chores. Sophia, invisible to the residents of the past, felt like an unwanted spectator in a theatrical play of destiny. She explored the mansion's corridors, trying to understand how the happiness she saw contrasted so strongly with the darkness that now enveloped the city. Frodo, noticeably anxious, led her to an isolated room. There, she witnessed a scene that shed light on the mystery. Edwin, the former owner of the mansion, was in a makeshift laboratory, surrounded by old books and strange artifacts. Edwin's obsession with Eclipsia was evident as he scribbled complex theories and magical formulas. He believed that Eclipsia was a gateway to other worlds, and his research sought to unravel the secrets of the portal that opened every decade. Intrigued by the discoveries, Sophia decided to continue following Edwin's trail. He had mysteriously disappeared a few months ago, leaving behind an empty mansion and a loyal dog. Frodo, now an orphan, chose the journalist as his new companion, as if he knew she would continue the search for his former owner. The trail led them to a dark basement, where Sophia found a diary belonging to Edwin. His words revealed a growing obsession with Eclipsia and the belief that it was a gateway to another world. He believed that the mansion was situated at a convergence point between realities, and every decade, Eclipsia opened a breach that could be explored. Sophia felt a chill run down her spine as she read Edwin's words. The basement, cold and damp, seemed to vibrate with ancestral energy. She began to understand that the mystery of the mansion was intrinsically linked to Eclipsia, as if the darkness falling over Havenwood activated an ancient hidden magic. Back in the corridors, Sophia realized that the mansion was not just a physical space but a portal to something beyond human understanding. The shadows came to life, dancing on the walls like entities long dormant. The dog Frodo, now more than a simple pet, seemed to be a living connection to Edwin and his hidden knowledge. He guided Sophia through secret passages, revealing forgotten rooms and unveiling the dark past of the mansion. As the sun began to set, casting a faint light through the broken stained glass windows, Sophia, with Frodo by her side, was determined to continue her search on the night of Eclipsia. As she ventured deeper into the mansion, the feeling that something ancient and powerful awaited awakening increased. Sophia's journey, intertwined with Edwin's story and the mansion's hidden revelations, led her to the center of the enigma. Eclipsia, every decade, provided a unique opportunity to explore the boundaries between reality and darkness, and Sophia was about to cross that unknown threshold. The silent town of Havenwood held secrets long forgotten, and the night of Eclipsia promised to reveal truths that would challenge even the understanding of the intrepid journalist. Chapter 5: Dark Revelations. The night enveloped Havenwood with its growing darkness, and Sophia felt the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. As Eclipsia approached, she knew the city depended on her to uncover the secrets and break the cycle of a dark fate. Sophia and Frodo returned to the city, where the heavy atmosphere was palpable. The empty streets were only lit by flickering lanterns, and shadows stretched like hungry claws. Heading to the police station, Sophia realized that the city was aware of the imminent Eclipsia. Sheriff Williams, the enigmatic man who seemed to hide more than he revealed, was at the police station, gazing out the window as if anticipating the impending chaos. He stared at her with eyes that betrayed a dark knowledge, but before Sophia could question him, a thunderous noise echoed through the city. Eclipsia had begun. The stars disappeared one by one, shrouding Havenwood in oppressive darkness. Shadows came to life, dancing through the streets like hungry specters. Sophia felt supernatural energy in the air, a prelude to the events about to unfold. Determined, Sophia guided Frodo to the mansion. With every step, the shadows seemed to stir and wriggle, as if recognizing the intruder attempting to break their dominion. Upon entering the mansion, the darkness became denser, as if the building itself reacted to Sophia's presence. The circle on the floor, where the portal would open, was clearer now, emitting a faint and unsettling light. Frodo growled low, his fur standing on end, as if sensing the imminence of something terrifying. Positioning herself in the center of the circle, Sophia felt the same force pulling her as before. But this time, something was different. The darkness was more intense, as if events from the past were being resurrected. The portal opened. Sophia, enveloped by magical light once again, felt transported to the past. This time, she was immersed in a distant past Eclipsia night, a night that would mark the fate of Havenwood forever. The mansion, now vibrant and full of life, contrasted with the darkness that Sophia knew would follow. She watched the family of Edwin, their radiant smiles and joy permeating every corner. The entire city seemed to be celebrating, unaware of the imminent danger. Sophia, like a shadow on the periphery, witnessed the preparations for Eclipsia. Edwin, still immersed in his obsession, finalized the last details of the portal. The family, oblivious to the danger, awaited the arrival of the night that would change everything. As the clock approached midnight, Sophia felt tension in the air. The portal began to open, and the darkness emerging from it was palpable. A sinister shadow hung over the family, and the radiant smiles in the portraits now seemed ephemeral. What was once laughter had turned into screams of despair, and the cheerful music that played in the room was replaced by the sounds of screams and the creaking of the house contorting. The mansion trembled with the released energy, and darkness began to seep through the corridors. The family, once united and happy, was now enveloped in fear and desperation. Sophia, witnessing the traumatic event of the past, felt the same sense of helplessness that had tormented Edwin. Sophia followed Edwin to the laboratory, where he desperately tried to control the forces beyond the portal. The same shadowy entity she had seen before manifested itself, contorting like a creature born of shadows, a spectral form shrouded in dark mist. As Eclipsia reached its climax, Sophia realized that the shadowy entity was not just a destructive force but also a manifestation of the fear and suffering of the inhabitants of Havenwood. It was as if the city, marked by a traumatic past, was trapped in an endless cycle of darkness. Edwin then explained that, in his obsession with exploring dark magics, he inadvertently opened a portal during an eclipse night. This opening resulted in the entry of this shadowy entity that brought darkness to the city of Havenwood, marking the beginning of the Eclipsia cycle that would repeat itself in the following decades. Frodo, by Sophia's side, barked fiercely at the shadowy entity, as if challenging fate itself. The dog, a link between past and present, represented hope amid the imminent darkness. Sophia, realizing the connection, gathered her courage. In an act of determination, she confronted the shadowy entity, revealing the truth she had discovered about the eternal cycle of Eclipsia. The shadowy entity, momentarily interrupted, looked at Sophia with dark eyes and, for a moment, seemed to recognize the journalist as a bearer of the truth. Sophia, without backing down, spoke about the suffering that had plagued Havenwood for decades, about the generations trapped in a cycle of fear. The shadowy entity, shrouded in the revelation of someone who confronted it, began to intensify. The mansion, groaning under the weight of the past, had now transformed into absolute silence, as if everything around no longer mattered, only the entity and Sophia, a moment alone together. Sophia then confronts the entity, seeking to understand the reason for so much suffering imposed on the residents of Havenwood. The entity revealed that it came to collect a debt. Decades ago, the city was losing its population to the 1918 flu. Edwin's family and other families in the city, who had profound knowledge of dark magics, made a pact to end the losses in the city, promising in return a blood sacrifice every decade. Over the years, the members of the families forgot about the pact and were cursed. After a moment, the shadowy entity turns to want to break free from the portal. Sophia, realizing that the only way to stop all this would be with a new sacrifice, offers her blood to the entity in exchange for ending the entire curse. At this moment, the entity turns to her, ready to take what had been offered to it, but Edwin steps forward in front of Sophia, delivering his blood and his life to the entity and putting an end to the darkness. The debt was paid. Sophia, back in the present, found herself again in the circle on the floor, now disappeared. Havenwood was free from the dark influence of Eclipsia, and the city began to wake up from the dark night. Exiting the mansion, Sophia realized that the atmosphere had changed. The stars had returned to the sky, and the faint light of dawn began to dissipate the persistent shadows. Havenwood, liberated from the eternal cycle, was awakening to a new day. Sheriff Williams, observing the journalist returning from the mansion, met her gaze. There was something different in his eyes now, a mix of relief and surprise. He, who had once kept hidden secrets, seemed to understand that Sophia had played a crucial role in breaking the cycle. Frodo, the loyal dog who had witnessed the depths of the past, now barked cheerfully. He, representing hope and loyalty, had become a symbol of renewal for Havenwood. As she left, Sophia knew that Havenwood would no longer be defined by the shadow of Eclipsia. The cycle was broken, and the city, with its streets illuminated by the light of truth, could now move forward, leaving behind the legacy of a dark fate that had finally been overcome.